be talking about the original kind of idea behind Epcot, which we touched on a little bit briefly, and how the introduction of rides or attractions, is how Disney will want me to refer to them, based on Disney independent properties has kind of messed with the theming in the amusement or theme park, excuse me. The same thing anyway, right? Wrong. Terribly wrong. All of you failed. Huge difference. Huge difference between an amusement park and a theme park. The amusement park, it'll have theming elements, right? I mean, different areas will be centered around like, oh, this part's from this part of the world, or like this part's like dragons or whatever. And different rides will be like, ooh, it's the fiery breath, or like, it's the wildebeest. But it's still about the rides. And that's, your Six Flags, your Cedar Fair parks, your Busch Gardens. Really, without the rides, it's a parking lot that sells popcorn. Whereas you have the theme parks, where it's about, as we just touched on in the last speech, it's about creating an immersive environment. And really, where the real difference comes in is that environment tells a story. There's no story at Six Flags, but at any Disney park, and to a much lesser extent, Universal parks, they're telling a story. And Disney does that so well. Usually. Which brings me to Epcot. Now we have the original mission statement for the Epcot Center when it opened back in 1982. But I want to focus especially on the second sentence here. May Epcot Center entertain, inform, and inspire. And above all, may it instill a new sense of belief and pride in man's ability to shape a world that offers hope to people everywhere. I want to focus especially on these words: entertain, inform, and inspire. Everything in the park was created around those three words. As we touched on a little bit earlier, it was about entertaining and informing at the same time, and especially in Future World, inspiring about the future. And I wasn't there in 1982, okay? It was physically impossible for me to get to the park at that time. I was a little ways away from being created. But if you look at any list of defunct rides, at the top or near the top, you will find Horizons and the original Journey into the Imagination. And what these rides did so well was capture that feeling of inspiration and hope that you want out of Epcot. And everything from In the Future Showcase to the World Showcase was around these themes. And so when you enter into that park, much in the way when you enter Disneyland or Magic Kingdom, you feel the magic everywhere because of the lighting, the smells, the sights. It was the same with Epcot, but it gave you a sense of hope for the future and for cultures around the world. Everything changed when the IP is attacked. And as you can see by my wonderful visual metaphor, it became hard to see the story of Epcot. And obviously, as was alluded to earlier, again, these were put in because we need more people, we need more money, which is great. But the problem is that it breaks down what makes the park so great in the first place, which is the theming, because they're theme parks. But they're not theme parks anymore if there's no theme and there's no story. Let's take Frozen, for example. Obviously, we have the Seas with Nemo and Friends coming soon, Ratatouille to a France near you, Guardians of the Galaxy. They're going to teach you about energy, guys. Sure. We have Frozen in Norway. Now, we talk about how immersive, like that France, it really echoed France. Like he almost mistook the real France for our Epcot France. Norway, last time I checked, Arendelle wasn't in Norway. And Anna and Elsa are not from Norway, and it creates this segmentation in your mind, whether you're thinking about it or not, that, okay, when I'm in the Norway Pavilion, I'm in Norway. Then I go into Frozen Forever After. Now I'm not. Now I'm in make-believe world. And it separates the theme, and then you get some real negative side effects that in the long run are I think, are going to outpace kind of the returns, the momentary returns you get when Frozen or whatever IP at the time is popular. We're talking about a decreased perception of quality, okay? Like when everything is unified under a theme, there's this sense that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts because it all works in unison. Now it's Frozen was kind of cool, but it was kind of just the same as the movie. Mission Space, that was cool. Soarin', wow, that was great. It's about the rides, which Oh, what else was about the rides? Amusement parks. I don't want to go to Disney for an amusement park because I can pay $50 for a ticket and go to Six Flags instead. Disney, a little more than that. A little bit more. And so you get people starting to complain about the pricing, which I don't know if you've been to any Disney boards recently. It's kind of happening a lot. You get increased capacity demands, okay? When every gift shop sells the same thing, I don't want to spend time in the gift shop because I can go to that anywhere. But if you theme the restaurants or the gift shops around what is in the area or what the park represents, then maybe I do want to spend a little time there. Maybe I want to walk around a little bit more. Maybe the line for Soarin' won't always be an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And speaking of that, I might actually want to buy some of the stuff there if it's not all plushies, which they're great, okay? Disney has great merchandise. I'm not going to say they don't. But it could be better. It could be better. And so then the question is, let's throw that away. It's garbage. Get the eyepiece out of here. What do we do? This is St. Vincent, by the way, guys. Just St. Vincent DePaul. It's the namesake of the school. But the question is, what do we do next? I have a lot of ideas. I think IPs are fine, but you have to find ways to incorporate them in a way that fits the theme, which I think you can do. But when we get to the discussion part of this, some of the questions I want to get from you guys, or maybe from my fellow panelists, or maybe answers, is what do you guys think they can do to address the problem of needing to modernize Epcot in certain ways, but still keep the theme that makes theme parks exciting? Yeah.